Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you're all logging on. Loads of people have asked me about this session, and this is not something that I'm going to be doing every single week, unless obviously loads of people want to see it. Lots of people have asked me, they've kind of said, look, if you haven't got any sort of match to upload or any sort of session videos, then just check in with us. Let us know what's happening. One of the biggest reasons for doing this particular type of video is to bridge the gap between social media and anglers that watch videos on YouTube. It keeps coming back to me over and over again that there are loads and loads of anglers of all different ages in different countries as well, that because they're not on social media, they're missing out on lots and lots of fishing videos and features. This hopefully is going to bridge that gap for a lot of people. Okay, so please, the success of this is going to rely obviously on the viewers, but also on the feedback that I'm getting from people that are watching these sorts of videos. Okay, now this week's been a mega week. I'm sure a lot of you are aware. Probably one of the biggest issues this week has been Feeder Masters tickets going on sale. I know a lot of you who aren't in the loop or aren't involved in competitions like that might not know that, but they went on sale this week on Wednesday. And you know, I'm glad to say I got quite a few. I didn't get many at the first visit, I'll be absolutely honest with you. A lot of people had to have days off work to get tickets, and that's exactly what I did. I actually changed the working days of my working week so I could have Wednesday off to get those tickets. I didn't get too many the first time round because they were selling out so quickly, but thankfully after those tickets were sold, lots of close friends offered me some tickets, ones that they kind of didn't realize they'd ordered by mistake. They clashed with other dates and things like that. So they kindly offered me some tickets, and that happens every year. You know, there are a lot of viewers out there that really appreciate the videos that I do on here, and a lot of them are really, really nice in that respect, that they like to, you know, ask me first if they've got any tickets left over. So if you're one of those people, thank you so much for doing that. It's massively appreciated. And I will obviously be returning the favour by filming those matches whilst I'm out there fishing them. So whilst you can't be there, I will be on the bank filming for you, so you won't miss the whole match. Good to see some of you logged on. Thanks for logging on so quickly. Hi, Stephen Smith. Are you all right, Steve, mate? Let us know what you've been up to. I know some of you have got some live questions you might want to ask. It might be about your tackle or just something that you've seen in the press about certain competitions or events that you don't really know about or anything like that, then please fire away. I will go through these questions after this session. For those that are new to live sessions like this video will remain right here on YouTube. So, you know, even if you're, you know, not fortunate to sit down and watch this right now, you can come back and watch it at a later date. So it will remain on my channel, so you can view this for days and days and days to come. All right. So if there is anything that you kind of missed or you want to catch up on, then you could just watch it again. All right. And as with every other video on this channel, you can comment below this video. Okay. So just like, I know a lot of you love to give me feedback in the comments section below videos, you can do that with this sort of video as well, just right here on YouTube. So many of you here. Great to see you all. Like I say, I probably won't get a chance to go through all these questions and to check in with you all, but thanks for joining us tonight. Loads of questions. Great. Thanks for sending all those in. Just a quick catch up. Well, I know there's one or two people that said they were going to be joining us tonight and maybe they haven't got logged on right at 7:30. What have you been up to over the weekend? I've had a very busy weekend. On Saturday, I was with Dean Barlow, the England feeder team manager. We were doing one of our group coaching days, and we were down at Lawford Lakes. Turned into a beautiful, stunning day weather-wise. Blue skies, bright sunshine. And the session was about catching silverfish in cold water. And it was really cold overnight. It was about -3 or 4 degrees. Well, it was -3 when we got there. And it had been colder overnight. There was ice in the edges. All the puddles were iced over. So it was absolute ideal conditions for the session that we'd actually got planned. And as it turned out, you know, loads of people caught, well, everybody caught, but they caught loads of fish as well. It was evident that there's lots of those size fish in Larford at the moment, which was great because obviously it meant they got loads of bites, fishing a cage feeder and fishing for skimmers and for bream. It was great that they were there because it obviously gives you an opportunity to see that your rigs are working right. You know, are you hitting all your bites? It shows you that you're on the right line. It shows you, you know, that the mix that you're using is right if you're catching loads of fish like that. But that also highlighted some other issues then, because we, in our experience, know that when you're feeder fishing on that venue, you're not going to win matches with fish that size. If you're fishing a cage feeder on there, you need to catch fish of a better stamp, you know, the 2 and 3 pound bream. And so that was a kind of spin on it, because then once they got the fish in the peg, they then had to find a way around those fish and try and be more selective and selecting the bigger fish. And that's exactly what happened. They did it on a couple of different lines, and you know, we were all ringing changes throughout the session, and that was a brilliant session with Dean. So if you're one of the lads that was there, thank you very much for joining us. We've got the next one booked in for the 8th of February. So if anyone's interested in that, it's going to be exactly the same topic, same venue. And that's because we've had a few people approach us about that particular sort of fishing, but they couldn't make that date. And it did sell out because we do cap them at 10 people anyway. So if anyone's interested in that, please get in touch. I'll put my email address below this video as soon as it's finished being live, so you can get in touch. But there are going to be sessions like that all the way through the through the year, and we usually do them on different venues on a variety of different methods. Okay, so get in touch if that's something that you're interested in. I'm just going to have a quick look at some of these messages on here. Loads of you wanting to up your game and learn little bits of fishing. You've either been out of the sport or just getting back into it. Please just comment below, or email me. I'll always do my best to answer you. I'll always reply, and I'll always do my best to answer you. But I know a lot of the questions that we get asked is more about people that have had a break from the sport and just coming back into it. So they're wanting to know, obviously, you know, if you were fishing, say, back in the 90s or 80s even, you walk in a tackle shop these days and there's just a massive ground baits and pellets. It's a completely different world now. Anything like that, please do get in touch and we'll do our best to help you. And if there's certain topics you want to see in videos, this channel is all about providing what you want to see. Okay, so, you know, I don't want to waste my precious time and money out there filming for you if it's topics that you don't want to see. So you know, the ideas for the subjects that I cover are really all generated from your feedback. So thanks for that, and keep telling me what you want to see. Thanks for starting at 7:30. Gives me a chance to get the kids in bed. All right, Dale, we'll try and 7:30 when I do these sessions. So please let me know if it's a decent time for you. So yeah, Saturday was a great day. So thanks to those people who came along there. Gary Adams, hello everybody. Everyone's saying hi. Hello everybody. Gary Adams, how do you start a session straight after a frost? When you've had a short frost after mild weather? Great question, and that's exactly what we were faced with on Saturday. Basically, you know, I know it's one of the old sayings, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Just cover your options, feel your way into the session. You know, it's going back to one of the oldest phrases I ever remember from fishing, and that's, you know, you can't take out bait that you've put in. Okay, so just ease your way into sessions. All right. The common traits when the temperature's gone, you know, really cold. Certainly, if you're on a reservoir or a lake and the water clarity is, you know, it's gone clearer like they tend to do in winter. The fish often hole up and go to the deeper water. I'm not saying the deepest, but the deeper water. All right, that doesn't mean they're going to be on the bottom, but that tends to be, you know, a bit of a trend that the fish will be in the deeper water. Sometimes and quite often they push out further away from the bank. Okay, you know, so because the water's clearer, the fish quite often tend to push further out into the lake, and just things like that. Don't feed too much. Sometimes just ground bait in your feeder is enough, just to draw fish in and hold them there long enough for you to catch them. And you know, if you are getting a good response like that, you know, you could just kick off with just ground bait or just 3 or 4 maggots, for example. I keep saying maggots because they're a great winter bait that'll catch you anything, and they're a great starting point. And if you are catching fish and getting plenty of bites, just start putting more feed in. You know, just feed to the bites that you're getting, to the response, you know, and that's how a lot of the top lads go around different venues up and down the country, venues that they've never seen before, and they just feel the way into it. And that's how they go around all these different venues and seem to catch fish wherever they go. And that's because they haven't just gone down a set approach. They've gone there very open-minded, and just be willing to move as well. All right. And by that, I mean the spot that you're fishing in. So if you've spent a certain period of time in one area, just remember that fish do shoal up in winter. They can ball up in different areas of the peg. And even if you're catching 1 or 2, they can move as well. Obviously, fish in clearer water can be seen for a long way from their friends around them in a shoal. And it's quite often for fish to move in winter. So, you know, don't be too rigid in your feed area. You know, don't be afraid to have a cast around the peg, shorter, further, just to try and locate the fish. All right. So if you want any more detailed information on that, Gary, or anything specific, just please comment below and I'll do my best to help you. What else we got? I'm literally scanning these now. I can't really go through them all right now. Hi, Stephen. Great to see you on Saturday, mate. Great catch. Just let everyone know that our day on Saturday, I did actually film it. There's a 9.5-minute video of it, just going through what we did that day, and it also shows you the catch shots of people that were there on Saturday. And I will be uploading that onto this channel later on this week. Okay, so that'll give you a taste of what the session was all about. And it's nice to see Larford in the sunshine, you know. So yeah, hopefully some of you are looking forward to seeing that. What else we got here? Gary Mason. Hi, Gary. Great to see you on Saturday, mate. Fantastic catch, mate. Love all the Matrix gear. You've got more Matrix gear than me, mate. So nice one, mate. Great to see you. What about the Matrix bait, Brolly? What else? There's all sorts of topics on here. I can't really go through them all. It constantly keeps refreshing while I'm on here. Let us know how you got on over the weekend if you've been out fishing. Some people have asked me about what I fished on Sunday. I fished the Feeder Masters Winter Pairs competition yesterday. That was at Hallcroft with Richard Vaughan. We were in, I know a lot of you have asked about this, we were in 11th place and we were about 10 ounces behind 10th. And we had a very, very sharp frost and we knew it was going to be a test. And yeah, it turned out okay, but it did fish hard. There were some blanks. And you'll all be pleased to hear, I hope, that I did film the day. This was only yesterday, so this is telling you what kind of a busy day I've had. This was yesterday. I filmed the match for you, and I've already put that video together, and that video will be live on here at 8 o'clock. So that's only a few minutes away. All right, so that live match video, it's about 22 minutes long. That will be uploaded on here for you to watch the full video. So I'm hoping you're going to enjoy watching that. Please let me know what you think. I'm going to be filming lots more of the live matches that I do this year. There's so many more coming. If I showed you my schedule for the year, you'd wonder how I'd even fit work in. So if you're not subscribed already, just hit subscribe. That way you won't miss out on any of them. What else we got here? There's so many questions here. Liam, hi Liam. Hi Jamie. Going back to Enniskillen in April, what's the best way to float your maggots? Great question. And that is a place where floating maggots can be absolutely fantastic. I always used to just put them in a bait tub, put some water in the bait tub, and just half cover the maggots with water, so the water doesn't quite completely submerge the maggots. And that's how I used to do it, and that will do it. Okay, but I found out since then that you can do it even quicker and better by using fizzy pop. So something like 7-Up or Coca-Cola. I've even heard of somebody using Red Bull. I don't know if Red Bull works or not. I've not tried it, but certainly Coca-Cola, 7-Up, any sort of fizzy pop like the same drink like that. Just put that in the maggots. Don't cover them completely. I like to give them about 20 minutes. All right, and if you're doing quite a few, what you can do is just pop them in a tub of water afterwards. Obviously, all the ones that float will float. They will be at the top, and you can scoop them off. Just scoop them off and put them in your bait box, and they're obviously for the hook. But don't forget the hook that you're using as well. You know, it's a balancing act. You know, if you're trying to float your maggots, then make sure it's not a hook that's too heavy, because that's obviously just going to keep weighting them down. All right, so hopefully that helps you out with that. Stephen, hi Stephen again. Lots of different questions here. Hi mate, you came across me yesterday about distances. We were all 1 or 2 meters behind the platforms, although it didn't really seem to matter. So what Stephen's basically saying is we were at Larford Lakes yesterday, and because the venue has been flooded, like a lot of fisheries, the water level's gone above the platforms, and they've been quite a long way above the platforms. But the water's actually dropped now, and it's gone back down to the level of the platforms. However, as with lots and lots of fisheries, when that happens, the fishery staff there, the team, need to check the platforms to make sure they're safe, because some platforms they'll become unstable. So we were asked to fish from the natural bank yesterday, on Saturday, at the side of the platform, just because some of the platforms weren't very stable. And what Steve's basically saying is we had set distances to fish there, like the short line was 15 meters, for example. And Stephen's quite right saying that because we were sat 2 meters further back than that, should we have allowed for that in the distances? Now, on lots of occasions, yes, I would have done that, you know, so we would have fished 17 meters. However, Steve's just said that, you know, they would fish 15 meters and we still caught the fish. So I think it's quite nice that that same distance, that range from the bank seemed right no matter where you sat. you know. So, but I mean, that could be specific to that venue. But if any of you have spotted that on fisheries over the last few weeks, because a lot of them have been flooded, if you spotted anything like that, please let us know, because I'm sure other viewers will be keen to see that. So just comment below so they can see it. Lots of questions here. Gareth Barlow, hi Gareth, mate. Thanks for logging on again, mate. How would you approach a deepish venue, 10 to 15 feet? Feeder fishing is usually the best approach this time of year, but the bream and skimmers tend to sit off the bottom and very hard to catch. Another brilliant question, and one that we came across on Saturday again. Larford is 12 feet deep, and in my experience of that venue, and a lot of people's experience in that venue, we're pretty sure that, I don't know, 90% of the time, the bream and the skimmers are sat at half depth or about half depth, which is not a big issue on shallow venues. You know, say if it was Boston Lakes, for example, it's only 4 feet deep. It means, you know, if your feeder's on the bottom and the fish is at half depth, it's only 2 feet above your feeder. Obviously, on deep venues like at Larford, you know, if the fish are at half depth, then they could be 6 and 7 feet away from your feeder, which is a big issue. One of the best ways of getting around it, Gareth, there are two ways you can, or two ways of thinking about it, Gareth. One is you can put a volume of bait down on the bottom to try and force the fish down there, or just to give them a reason to be down there. All right. There's lots of little things that we can do, but I'll try and just summarize 2 or 3 of them. So the first one is you can put a volume of bait in quite quickly. So say, for example, you could put a nice, decent sized feeder on and just put 3 or 4 feederfuls of bait in and then go over the top and leave it. Okay. So what you're trying to do then is, and this works, it's worked on a lot of venues. I know this has worked, it's what we've done. You're putting a bed of bait down, a big plate of bait, and you're literally saying to the fish, look at this lot. We're giving you a reason to go down. Come and have a look and mop this bait up. All right. So that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is you can change your feeder to it's a feeder that makes sure that no bait comes off the feed as it's falling through the water. All right. So if you're using a cage feeder, for example, just switch to a plastic feeder or a solid feeder like that that's going to encase all the bait in it, which means nothing's going to come out of it until it's down on the bottom, because that means, again, that if the fish want anything, they're either going to have to come down and get that feed off the bottom, or hopefully they're going to follow that feeder down knowing it's full of feed, which obviously fish are educated on a lot of venues. They know it's a feeder. They know there's feed in it. But if there's nothing coming off it, what's right behind it? It's your hook length. Okay, so that's one way you can also trick them onto the hook as well. So you cast the feeder out, the feeder goes down to the bottom, nothing comes off it, and if a fish comes down to it, there's your hook bait there, and it's going to take your hook bait. All right. And the other way of doing it is just by being more active in your fishing. All right. So if the fish are up in the water and they have got a tendency to follow the feeder down, just have more frequent casts. All right. By constantly plopping the feeder in, having it falling through the water, you're just increasing the chance. By doing that more often, you're just increasing the chance of a fish spotting it, and, you know, of drawing fish in to the feed area of where the feed is going in. All right. And that obviously means that you're going to have more opportunities for your hook bait falling down behind the feeder if you're casting in more. And the key to that is, if you cast it in more, just scale the feeder down. All right. So you're not putting loads and loads of bait in. Say if you're fishing with a 5-hole feeder, for example, just switch it down to a 3-hole feeder, or, you know, I mean, a 4 would be better, or better than a 5, but a 3-hole is perfect size, or smaller if you have any in your box. Just keep plopping that feeder in, and you just you're giving them a reason to go down and have a nosy. All right. But if you've got any more specific questions about that, guys, just give me a shout, mate. Mike Smith, hi Mike, I hope you're well, mate. What's your starting hook length, diameter and hook size in winter on a large wild reservoir? Depends on the hook bait that you plan on using. So if you plan on using a big bait like 2 pieces of worm or something like that, bunches of maggots, then, you know, you've just got to match your hook to your hook bait. So something like that, I wouldn't go less than a 14. Okay. And obviously if you're catching on bigger pieces of worm, then put a 12 on. There are certain baits like that you can almost not mask the hook, but you can get away with a bigger hook. And if you can get away with a bigger hook, then obviously that's going to be better. But if I'm fishing maggot, something like that, say if I'm fishing single dead red maggot, for example, a size 16 is perfect. But, you know, on some pressured waters when it's really hard, then you might want to go down to an 18. And I will fish an 18. I'll never go below an 18. I will never go down to a 20. You know, 18 is as small as I would go. And if you're fishing smaller baits, then those smaller hooks are more suited. So if I'm fishing like a single maggot, for example, sometimes double maggot, a size 16 is perfect. But if it's a bigger bait, then a 14. And hook length diameter, It depends on the venue and the target of fish again. All right. So, for example, when we were at Lawford on Saturday, we were after skimmers and bream. That's what we were after. So an 011 is perfect. Okay. That venue, it's not known for snags and things like that. So again, that's not an issue. All right. But if you're fishing a wild, I mean, you've said a wild venue. So the thing with wild venues is, you never really know what the typography of the peg is like. There could be rocks out there, trees, there could be any sorts of snags out there as well. So sometimes in those situations, even if you're struggling to get bites, you've still got to beef up your gear a little bit. Otherwise, you're either not going to land any fish. And on some venues, and I've done it, and I can name venues where just reeling in, you're losing uplands because it's getting caught on debris and whatever's out there in your peg. So if it's that sort of an environment, then you just need to beef your gear up, because there's no point in hooking fish if you're not going to be landing them. So if you've got any more questions on that, just give me a shout. Okay. Hi, Richard. How do you keep your man cave so tidy? I've got to keep it tidy because it's one of them things, right? I had a friend, and I'll not name him, and if he's watching, I hope you do comment on this. And he once said to me, he says, I once went fishing with him, and he got a great big side tray, great big one of the big side trays first came out, and he says to me, "Brilliant, this tray. It's absolute. I can get everything on here, so it's great." And I says, "Yeah, that's great. That fantastic." Anyway, the next time I saw him, he got one about that big, a right little side tray like that, fitted in his net bag. And I says to him, I says, "Why have you suddenly switched your side tray? Why have you gone from that big one that you like?" He says, "Well, because I found that when you've got a big side tray like that, you end up with everything on there and it's a complete mess." He says, "When I've got a little side tray," he says, "everything's got to have its own little place. I've got all my little boxes to fit it and it's right nice and neat and tidy." That's why this is like this, because it's not a big space. It's got to be organized, and it makes everything quicker when you've got less time to set, to prepare your kit. If you've just taken an extra couple of minutes to label the box up or whatever, you can go straight to it and that sort of thing. So I hope that answers that question, Richard. Keith Clifton, how's it going, mate? Let me know how that video's going. You told me that you're going to be doing a video, so please let me know what it and when it is. I'd like to watch it for you, mate. Ronnie, hi Ronnie. Do you do junior coaching days? The coaching side of things has picked up now. I've never really pushed it, and you'll all be the first to hear now because I haven't told anybody this before. I'm literally 2 weeks away from having a website that just is for this channel. The domain name is already registered, so within probably 2 or 3 weeks there is going to be a website for this channel, and that is really to support this kind of thing where a lot of people aren't seeing content, they're not seeing videos purely because they're not on social media. Okay, and it's also going to be a reference point for the coaching side of things. I've got more coaching sessions with Dean coming up through the year, the group coaching as well. I've got lots of one-to-one coaching booked in as well, just tuition days. Everybody, what I love about those days is everybody's got their own thing that they want to work on. So some lads just want to, I've been out with lads and they've spent 4 hours just trying to cast straight, and then they've gone away, they've not caught any fish, but they've spent 4 hours casting, and it's just got rid of all the problems that they've had with that. They're hitting the same spot every time and they've gone away happy. Whereas other lads want to catch big nets of bream. Some lads just want to have a day's fishing. All right. So the one-to-one days are great. And that's what that website is also going to include. So the website, I will announce that to you when it's launched on here. It's a website that's going to involve all my videos on here. It's going to tell you about what's happening on social media, because a lot of you are missing out on that. So if you can go to that website, it's going to tell you all that, then you're not going to be missing the stuff on social media. It's going to have articles on there, text articles. So I know some people like to sit and read articles as well as watch videos. And it's also going to have lots of notifications about the schedule for the coaching days and all that sort of stuff, tuition days. So in answer to your question, Ronnie, that is certainly something I want to move into later on in the year. So yes, we're going to be doing some junior coaching days, and if there's anything specific that you're interested in, then please let me know. Myself and Dean kind of come up with the topics for our group days based on what people have asked us to do, and everyone's sold out. Okay, we cap it at 10 and everyone's sold out. And to be quite honest, on Saturday I think there were 6 people there that had been on other sessions as well. So the fact that these anglers are coming back 2, 3, 4 times, it's great for me and Dean, because it means we're doing it right, or we're doing it the way they want to do it. So in answer to your question, Ronnie, yes, we are going to be doing junior coaching days as well. So I'll let you know when that website's live, because that'll be telling you all about kind of availability of dates and things like that. And if anyone's interested in one-to-one coaching or tuition, please get in touch. I'll put my email address directly underneath this video if you want to email me, and I can send you a list of available dates. I'm kind of losing my track now of all the messages here. Stephen, hi Stephen. Would in a feeder only match, would you fish floating maggots mid-water for carp? Yes. Answer to your question. There's lots of things that I work on behind the scenes that when I go out fishing, obviously I have days out with Dad. I can do a little bit of filming when I haven't got matches on and things and I'm not at work. And that's the kind of thing that I go out and try. I've been experimenting. One of the key questions I've been asked about all year has been fluorocarbon. And I made it no secret that hopefully I've never been branded as a sheep. I'm not suddenly going to start using something just based on what someone else is using, because I want to find out if it is suitable for my fishing and fits in with my the matches that I fish, and fluorocarbon is one of them. So I've been out there on my bank on the bank on my own, just experimenting with fluorocarbon, just seeing if it's going to give me an edge. If I'm happy with it, then I will be switching to that. The floating maggots thing is another one that I've been messing about with. All right, so I'll keep you posted on some of that. But in answer to your question, yes. We know the fish up in the water a lot of the time, so I think it's an area that we need to tap into more than what we do right now. Thanks for that, Stephen. Raphael, hello mate, good evening. I have questions about setting distance on feeding rod. Do you set exactly the same distance like on the rod you use for fishing, or 1 or 2 meters closer? Brilliant question, and it's one that when I've been fortunate enough to be away on some of these high profile team events, we obviously have meetings and we discuss tactics and the ways that we're doing things. And that is one of the questions that always comes up, and it's a brilliant question. For those that might not understand that question, what Raphael's trying to say is when you put a volume of bait in, just like when you're pole fishing, when you put a volume of bait in, say you're putting a line in with, I don't know, 6, 7, 42 feederfuls of bait, where you want to leave it alone for an hour or 2 hours. What he's actually saying is when you clip your rod up to fish on that line, do you clip it up so you're fishing just past that bed of feed, or this, or short of it? It's a brilliant question, and it's one that I have made mistakes doing in the past, but I'll answer the question exactly how I feel about it. What I currently do is I clip up at exactly that same range. The reason why I do that, I used to clip up just past it. And the reason why I don't do that now is because I've had 2 matches. Thankfully, this mistake, I managed to resolve it in time and still go on to win the section and get the points that I needed. But on 2 occasions, I clipped up just past that bed of feed. And the problem I had was because I'd drawn an area where there were some fish, and I know that's going to come as a shock to a lot of you, me drawing on some fish, because I was fishing the feeder. Obviously, my line was coming right the way through that fed area, and that did nothing but cause me problems. I was getting line bites. The fish were obviously, if your line's running right through that bed of feed and there are fish there, they're going to be touching the line. And I was plagued with line bites. It was a very soft, silty bottom as well, which didn't help. And I made a change. I came closer, and thankfully, it didn't cost me anything that day. And it happened again on another occasion. So I don't do that now. I clip up exactly at the range that I've fed. Because what you'll find is when you depending on how good you are at putting that volume of bait in, sometimes if you're putting 6 feederfuls of bait in, for example, all right, if you put 6 feederfuls of bait in and you squeeze the ground bait into your feeder, it goes down to the bottom. Now, depending on how tight you squeeze that in, will determine how quick it's going to empty. All right, so say for example you really packed it in, and when you come to empty it, hopefully to give it a shake so it empties. Some of that feed, or a lot of that feed, inevitably is going to be deposited coming back towards you, and just the action of a feeder. I mean, we've seen that in the tank tests. All right, just if you've got a bed of feed, right, for example, if you've got a bed of feed and you cast an empty feeder over the top of that, right, just let it all settle, and then you retrieve your feeder, that in itself, just the movement of that coming out your peg will drag feed towards you, because it's just the water that moves it. The movement of the water brings feed towards you. Okay, so you're doing that anyway. So if you clip up exactly that same distance, your bed of feed, a lot of your bed of feed is going to be deposited back towards you. So you're already on kind of, the back edge of it anyway. All right. So in answer to your question, I clip up at exactly the same range. However, if later on in the session you want to try and nick extra fish, then I might go just a little bit past. But that just depends on how the session's going. So I hope that answers that for you, Raphael. Please, if you can comment below, let me know, please, mate. Hi, Danny. Danny's angling blog. Great work, mate. I don't know how many videos you've actually uploaded now onto your channel. If anybody's into kind of fishing days, certainly on the rivers and that sort of thing, check out Danny's angling blog. He's doing a great job over there. I don't see many of your videos, Danny, to be honest. I just don't get a chance, but keep up the good work, you too, as well, mate, because I know the nice fishing days what you do. Porky Saint, good evening. Jamie, when distance feeder fishing, how long diameter-wise would you dare to go with your main line to get the distance? How long, I'm just trying to understand that one right. How long diameter-wise would you dare to go? I think he means when you're casting at range, what is the lowest diameter line you will go to on your reel? I think that's what it means. If not, please comment below. Another great question. You know, we all know that when you're casting at range, the lower the diameter line that you're using, the quicker and easier it's going to come off your spool, off your reel, which inevitably and hopefully will help you gain extra distance. It really, you see, in our country, if I'm bream fishing like Southfield or any of these reservoirs, I'm usually using braid anyway, all right, and that'll be 0.10 submerge. I used to use the 0.08, but I just use 0.10 submerge braid for all my braid fishing. Okay, so if I'm fishing at range for bream and that sort of thing on a natural venue, I will be using braid, but I will be using a shock leader as well. Okay, but I think you're talking about fishing for carp, possibly with a method feeder. £6. I'll say £6. That's what I've always used. The only time I've ever really fished at range, I'll be absolutely honest about it, because I just don't fish. I know you mentioned Boddington's. I don't go to Boddington's. I've only ever been there twice, and that was in 2 club matches back in the day. And I ended up fishing a pellet waggler, and I did well. I was first one day and second on the other, I think. But that was pellet waggler. I've never been in the winter when they're fishing with long range method feeders. If I was going there, I would probably use. I probably could even go down to a £4 main line, but then I would have a shock leader on there of at least £8. Could even be £10 shock leader. I don't really fish that way. Like I said, when I'm fishing at range, it's usually with braid anyway. But when I've done it at Barston, which I've fished up to, I haven't been on the wides at Barston for a long time, but on there, when I've been there and I've had to go out to 80, 90 meters or whatever it was, I've used £6 main line with an £8 shock leader. And that was 6 meters long. But having said that, with a method feeder, you can cast further with a method feeder anyway than you can with a conventional feeder rig, you know, and that catches a lot of people out, you know, because casting a method feeder at that sort of range with the kind of kit that we've got now, you know, the 13-foot rods, I use the 4-meter Horizon XD with a 5,000 reel or a 5,500 reel, and you know, with a method feeder, it flies. But obviously, with a conventional feeder, it's a different ball game. When you've got a 50-centimeter hook length and 2 worms on, acting like a parachute, it's a completely different ball game. So hopefully that answers that one for you. If not, then please comment below. I'll do my best to answer. Good evening, everyone. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Everybody's saying good evening. Thank you. Thank you. What else we got here? Keep the questions coming in. We've got a few more minutes. What time is it? Let's have a look. Okay, right. Well, it's just gone 8 o'clock. The live match video from yesterday has already gone live. That it was scheduled for 8 o'clock, so that's been on there 4 minutes now. So hopefully you're all going to enjoy that. I'm not going to outstay my welcome. Please comment below if you want me to do these more often. I could do them every Monday night if so. If you're going to keep the questions coming in, just let us know what you've been up to. So thanks for logging on tonight. If you watch this live, really appreciate it. And comment below, let me know what you think, and we'll keep rolling them out every week if you want. And I can also get other people involved as well if you've got, you know, certain Q&A sessions or whatever it is you want to do. So I hope you're going to enjoy the video that's just gone live. Please let me know what you think. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit subscribe just down there. That way you won't miss out on you won't believe the matches that are coming up this year, or from all over Europe. So hopefully you're going to enjoy kind of experiencing them with me, because I love sharing those experiences with you, and hopefully there's going to be plenty of success along the way for you. So I can tell you more about those maybe in next week's slot, just to let you know what competitions are coming up. Like I said, they're coming from all over Europe this year. So thanks for logging on, and don't forget, if you do want to join the club, join Patron TV. The link is below for you if you want more tuition coaching style videos. So thanks for logging on. I'm going to log off now, and hopefully you're going to enjoy the live match, 22-minute live match video from Hallcroft from yesterday, where the league is really hotted up now, and you might want to watch that video right while the end, because that one really does go right to the wire.